today's project, we're going to add some Ethernet drops and a power drop here in the bedroom. This house was built in the 90s, so there's no Ethernet drops anywhere in the house. And unfortunately, we need to set up our access point. I've got external access points to extend the range, but they don't do all that well over Wi-Fi to connect and to perform a mesh network. I found it much better to have them connected right to Ethernet and then perform the mesh network that way, connecting through back to the main switch. So what I'm going to do is add a drop to this bedroom wall for Ethernet. I've already ran the line from the basement, and I'm also going to add power and tie into the garage and one of my junctions there. And it's only one outlet, it won't be a problem.
And just to recap, the garage that I've been renovating is directly underneath the bedroom I've been working on, and I cut this little access hole, which allows me to get up into the crawl space. And when I do, I can see the backside of the bedroom wall right here and be able to access it to add the drop.
I've cut an access hole on the backside of this wall in a crawl space, pull the insulation away, and I use my plunge knife to knock a hole through on each side of the 2x6s so I know where to cut. Then I'm going to go upstairs to the bedroom and then cut that out from the other side so I can make a nice clean cut. I've already cut my holes underneath using the plunge knife, and of course the plunge knife doesn't always work well with paint. That's going to need to be cleaned up a little bit there. Hopefully the cover will cover that. And it's given me a good reference of where the boxes are going to go. I've got two old work boxes. This one's for the Ethernet, low voltage, so it doesn't have to be encased in anything. And this is an old work box for electric. And so this one's going to go here, and the other one will go over there. Now that I have my box located where they're going to go, I'm going to measure the right height and cut my holes out. Also tape some cardboard here to keep the cuts from dumping sawdust, or rather drywall dust, into my vents. So I'll cut this one first, move that over, and cut the other one. So I've got the box roughed out here, and I'm going to cut the hole, being extra careful because this is a finished wall. And I don't have a drywall cutter. Maybe someday, but for right now, I'm just going to use this box cutter knife. And it just takes multiple passes. And you want to take it nice and slow, especially at the end there. Otherwise, you're going to do what I almost did there and just suddenly shoot right past. And there we go. Proving my own point. Once I get this roughed out, I'll test fit my box and then try it again. And I'm going to put the camera down so I can control the knife better and not do that again. There. Now that we have our hole cut out, we can test fit our box. That fits in just perfectly. And the cover should go over that, especially if I buy an extra wide one. And with these, all you have to do is screw those in, and that flips those little tabs out. I'll show you on this one here. The little tab will flip out and then tighten up against it, holding that against the wall. So I've got my two boxes installed here. I need to crank these down yet to tighten them in place, and then run power to this one and my Ethernet up through this one, and I can add my cover plate. Now I got the layers all stuffed in from the back side. I can put my insulation back in place and put my cover back on and screw it in place, and then just run the power over to the junction box over here. All right, so we're ready to add the outlet. See how much I can do with one hand. We're gonna cut into coating here, and you want to actually cut in and run the blade towards the ground. So if you actually nick anything, it's going to be the ground. Once you've got it stripped a little bit, you can just peel this down. It takes two hands, so I had to stop the camera. And then being extra careful not to touch the wires, cut off that
a little extra. And then we're going to use our wire strippers and cut off the end here, mostly because that was where I cut through the wire, and I just want to make extra sure there's no wire with a nick in it. Get this apart. Maybe I can cut it properly. Okay, now we're going to strip off some wire coating, and then we're going to roll these. Your neutral and ground are going to be on the same side, so you need to roll them the same way. And then the hot line is going to roll the other way. And then we'll take our outlet and set it up like so. Whenever I do an outlet, I'll always take and use my pliers and crimp that down. Makes a nice tight fit there before I put the screw on. Another thing you want to make sure you do is twist the wire in the direction the screw is spinning. So the screw is spinning this way. I've got the wire going around this way, so it actually tightens as it goes in. One last tip is to accordion the wire so it'll go into the box easy. And as you're putting it in, make sure that your ground wire isn't touching hot or neutral on either side. So one thing that you can't quite see in the camera is that the outlet is slightly twisted. And the outlets accommodate for this. So I'm just going to bring it in a little bit straighter. Before I put my cover on. The cover looks a lot better. I got a bigger cover to hide my little mix up there. There we go. Ethernet and power right close together. I can hook up my access point here, and then short Ethernet cable to plug it into there. So to recap the path that we took, we've got my switch here, which is connected to my router in there, and that is going up through into the drop ceiling. Across the drop ceiling here, through the basement. There's a nice path there through the drop ceiling. And then up into the ceiling here, and that is the garage wall right there. So it goes up through the conduit that I put in for the bell wires or the garage door openers, which worked out well. It's going up through that conduit. Again, the conduit's behind this wall here. It's going up that wall into the crawl space, which I've closed off since this video was filmed, in across the crawl space, and then straight up into the bedroom wall. And then through the bedroom wall, and there is my access point using the D-Link DAP 1820. Got a video of me installing one of those in the living room on the other side of the house. I think that worked out well as well. And I have discovered with these D-Link DAP 1820s, they work best plugged in. I had it in the hallway for a while. I was running over wireless through the wireless extender feature. Did not work well that way. Best way is to hardwire it. Patch cable running from here down all the way to the basement. Works very well plugged in that way.